Sims Walker, knocked down.
Oh my God! Davis is going running all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game.
In trouble. He's going to be sacked. No, gets away. He runs, gets away again, goes to the 40, gets away again.
Jackson takes it himself. Look at him dart back and forth. Oh! He broke his ankles.
I have never seen this before in my life.
Still looking. Firing. Near corner. It's caught!
Denver! Unbelievable!
And welcome to the Fourth Down Fiasco.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Fourth Down Fiasco, your go-to podcast for all things football, brought to you by BetStamp. BetStamp is the sports bookie of all sports bookies because they've got things like BetMGM, Bet365, Caesars, FanDuel, all the big name sports betting bookies that you can possibly think of, all in one place for you. So you can check them out at signupexpert.com/fiasco. Go ahead, place a $10 bet because they've got all kinds of deals going on right now where you get free money, you get additional bets, all things of that nature. So again, that is signupexpert.com/fiasco. And as always, with me are the rising stars of the podcasting industry, the man who watches too much football, Danny Weber, and the man who doesn't watch enough football, Tanner Vinsky. Say hello to the people for me, y'all.
Hey.
Hello. I feel like I got called out.
Actually, if there's anyone on this pod who doesn't watch enough football, it's probably me, but I had to go somewhere with that. So, but with that, let's go ahead and dive in because we have some big news coming out of the dumpster fire that is the New York Jets organization, recently having fired Joe Douglas, their general manager. Fellas, thoughts, concerns?
I don't think it's going to fix the organization.
Not at all.
Cool. They fired a GM. Good job.
Well, and a GM who's done a pretty good job of drafting in recent years, too. I mean, you think about guys like Sauce Gardner and Braylon Allen and Breece Hall, and he's gotten some really good draft picks over the years. So I'm like, he's been doing his job, you know. He's the one who brought in Aaron Rodgers, you know, which everybody coveted as like the greatest pickup in free agency, and
now has Devontae Adams.
Yeah, like it's not his fault.
You have Breece Hall, Devontae Adams, Garrett Wilson, and Aaron Rodgers on your offense, and you're what, 4-6?
No, dude, they're 3-8. Yeah. They're terrible. I mean, the Jets would do better if their their owner, if Woody would just fire himself. That seems like their best solution. But Joe Douglas hasn't even been like the last two draft classes. He's done a lot better with picking. But I saw something earlier today that said that the Jets don't have a single pick on their roster from the 2020 or 2021 draft classes. So everybody they drafted from those 2 years are just not even on the roster anymore. And those are draft classes from only 3 and 4 years ago, which is atrocious for a GM. Like that's, even though like, yes, Breece Hall, not Braylon Edwards. That's the receiver, Braylon Allen. You know, like a lot of those picks are great and a lot of things are going well. I do see the logic in saying like, you know, 2021 was only 3 years ago. It's unacceptable as a franchise to have 0 guys from that draft class pan out for your team. Like that's pretty insane.
Yeah, I just looked it up. It's Mekhi Becton went pick 11 overall, then Denzel Mims, Ashton Davis, and then Jabari Zuniga, LaMichael Perrine. No one played over.
Good job pronouncing Zuniga. Good job, Danny. Sorry.
But let me see. What's their 21 draft class?
I mean, even with some of the, you know, obviously none of
Zach
those names
Wilson.
register. Yeah, Zach Wilson was part of that class. You know, with none of those names really like registering as far as, you know, I think the only person that might still even be in the league is Denzel Mims. And he's a backup somewhere.
Mekhi Becton's playing for the Eagles right now and doing okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
Ooh,
He's a big boy.
in 2021, they took a guy named Michael Carter and then took Michael Carter the second 2 picks later.
Really? In the same draft class?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Wow. That's like a LeBron and Bronny James type of deal right there. That's crazy.
But hey, Zach Wilson's still in the league. Come on now.
Well, I was talking about the 2020 draft. You started talking about the 2021.
True. Elijah Vera Tucker was their second around, or they had the second and the 14th overall pick in 2021.
But what I was going to say,
Zach Wilson and Elijah Vera Tucker. Holy cow.
Even with a lot of those guys, being either useless players or not even being in the league. I mean, again, the past 2 years, he's done really well, and he's brought in free agents, and he has, they said, hey, the offense doesn't look good. So what did he do? He went and got Devontae Adams, which, I feel like if you put Devontae on the Chiefs would figure out how to use him. I'm just saying, the Chiefs figured out how to use Hopkins, and Hopkins was even more washed. Like, I think that there's a coaching problem here, but hey, guess what? We recently just let go of our head coach, and the team has completely tanked since that happened. Yes, the team is significantly worse since Saleh left. So,
well, that's part of the issue. Is it's not Devontae Adams is bad. Like, Devontae Adams is still a top end receiver and is still running his routes well. The issue is Rodgers isn't making the throws he needs to make. I mean, when you're watching a lot of the games, he's not playing to what he should be, right? Like, and yes, he's coming off an Achilles tear. He's in a bad situation. The team's doing poorly. But Aaron Rodgers needs to be superhuman. Like, he needs to be a top 10 guy in the league. And he's not that guy anymore. And he's not even close to that guy. I mean, you can make arguments. I mean, honestly, at this stage, like, I think Russell Wilson's a better starting quarterback than Aaron Rodgers with how poorly Aaron Rodgers has played this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's better. I think that at this point, Kyler Murray's looking better. Herbert, you can put any like middle tier quarterback out there pretty much, and they're going to do better than Aaron Rodgers.
Here's the real question, Tanner. Is Geno Smith playing better than Aaron Rodgers?
Ooh.
Oh, absolutely.
No, yeah.
I mean, the game against the 49ers this week, Geno Smith practically won that game on his own. Yeah. That run he had in the fourth quarter, you're not seeing Aaron Rodgers do that.
No.
So
his legs don't work.
Yeah, exactly.
He looks like Mike Tyson at the end of that Jake Paul fight. Them legs not moving.
Yeah, they ain't moving the way they're supposed to be moving.
No, but you made a good point before we started the show, Tanner, about the relationship that Douglas has with Aaron Rodgers, and with him gone, like you said, it seems like the Jets probably are going to try to move on from Aaron Rodgers, which I don't blame them, but I still don't think that solves any of their problems either.
If they let Rodgers get out of the building, they're just going to be worse next year. But at this stage, the Jets have been rebuilding for the last 40 years. You might as well keep trying, right? Like, just blow it up.
Yeah.
And
don't knock Mark Sanchez.
That's true.
Yeah,
2010, they went to an AFC championship game. Yeah, that's true. 2010 was a weird year, man. Jets and Bears both in a championship game. Who would have? You won't see that shit ever again.
Yeah. People should have played the lottery that year if they knew to put some money down on that. That's crazy.
Well, the thing is they had decent quarterback play for both of them. Jay Cutler is a meme, and yeah, he was smoking cigarettes on the sideline, but Jay Cutler played okay. Yeah, he played well. And
he was not afraid to sacrifice his body for a touchdown either.
Yeah, exactly. That motherfucker loved playing football.
Yeah.
Jameis Winston's a wannabe Jay Cutler.
I can see that. I can see that.
I think Jameis Winston's a better quarterback than Jay Cutler was, though.
No, yeah, but the way he did the 30-30 club, Jay Cutler tried to start that.
But Cutler is more intelligent, which is crazy to say because he was never a very high IQ guy to begin with. But
if the Jets don't sign a quarterback in the offseason and they draft one, who do you want them to draft? Because you got Sanders, you got Ward, you got Ewers, you got Milroe. You got Carson
Yours
Beck.
is probably going to be a middle to late first round pick. I don't think yours has the intangibles needed to be a top 10 pick at quarterback. Granted, I'm sure that there might be a franchise that's just desperate and says screw it and does it. I could see Carolina doing some dumb shit like that.
Zach Wilson and Trey Lance went 2 and 3 in 21.
Okay, but at least with Trey Lance, you can understand because the size and the athleticism were there. You know, Zach Wilson, they just got excited from that one throw in the combine. But at least like there were intangibles there with Trey Lance of like, okay, he's big, he's athletic, he's got a strong arm, he's just inaccurate. But
I don't think we'll ever see a situation like Zach Wilson and Trey Lance ever again. I mean, Trey Lance, because how many games did Trey Lance actually play of college football? Like, it was like 2 seasons, I think.
I think so.
It wasn't even a full 2 seasons.
Yeah, it was. I think he had 14 games or something.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to see a guy get drafted, what was that, 3rd overall, 4th overall?
3rd.
Playing 14 games of college football again. Like, that's not going to happen. So I don't know.
Sorry.
Yeah, I have no clue what the Jets are going to do at quarterback. I honestly, the Jets roster, they had something going at the beginning of this year. They had something where everybody cumulatively in the offseason was saying, yeah, Jets could make an AFC championship run. Like, it's not exactly top of the list. They're not exactly like the top contenders, but you could see a world where Aaron Rodgers wills his roster to a way to get to an AFC title appearance. And a lot of people were picking them to do that because they had a good defense. They had a great defensive-minded coach, Robert Saleh, and they had Aaron Rodgers at QB. So it's like, okay, that's all you need. And the running game looked pretty good. But the O-line is trash. I mean, the running game can't function because the O-line is so bad. The defense is not playing well at all anymore. Like, they don't run block well. They don't pass defense well. Like, they don't do anything well. So
because Saleh's gone.
Yeah, Saleh was making that team a great defensive team, and now they're not there anymore. And you're looking at some of those premier guys on the defense, like Sauce Gardner isn't even having a good year. Like, he's been a liability at corner.
He's been getting torched.
And that's what people are saying. Like, you can't call yourself Sauce anymore if you're getting freaking butchered in the backfield, like that, or sorry, in the secondary. Like, that's not how this works. Like, so the Jets, I mean, I think if they lose Rodgers and they're looking to go into a full rebuild, I mean, they're going to be bad. Like, they're going to be really bad. They're probably going to have to trade away assets. And I think if they're like, we're going to get a QB and try to compete, that QB's career is already done. Like, sorry to that QB, but you didn't get a chance at the NFL. Like, you got drafted the Jets.
I mean, we've talked about it before on this pod. There's a very simple formula for quarterback success, and it's you've got to have a good offensive line, or at least an average one, and you've got to have a good running back to some degree. You know, someone who can take some pressure off of your quarterback so they can make throws, they can have play action plays and things of that nature. You know, there's only one, maybe two quarterbacks that can do without that in this league. And that's every era of football. There's only ever really been like one, maybe two quarterbacks in every era of football that could do that. You're probably not drafting that guy. So you got to start with the offensive line first. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, you know, if they were to have had a competent offensive line, Aaron Rodgers would probably look better.
Oh, absolutely. 1,000%.
He just, you know, because of the Achilles, he can't move in the pocket, period. Like, he has zero mobility at this stage in his life. And so, you know, if you can't protect him, he's going to get hit a lot. And that's all it's going to be. He can't run away from guys anymore. He can't spin out of tackles like he used to be able to because he can't really plant his foot, you know? So, I mean, if they are going to go into full rebuild mode, I pray to God. Well, I honestly don't care that much. They should pray to God that their new GM and owner go after some offensive linemen first. Because if they don't have that, then they're going to continue to have this perpetual cycle of being a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
So
the bad franchises keep doing the same mistakes. And it's because they want their franchise guy. They think if they just get their franchise guy, everything's going to be okay and everything's going to be fine. And that's not how it works. And that's why you see so many teams that pick so highly draft these QBs and they're perpetually in a rebuild. I mean, like, think about since the year 2000, how many QBs have started for the Browns? How many QBs have started for the Jets? How many QBs have started for the Bears? Like
Carolina, even.
Carolina's getting there now.
Yeah.
Indianapolis was doing real poorly there. I mean, the Giants are, they had Eli for a long time, but now that Eli's left, think about how many people they've had started since Eli's left.
I mean, even you guys after Big Ben, you guys had a handful, not as many as the others, but you guys.
Yeah, no, we went through
quite a few.
We went through Mason Rudolph, Kenny Pickett, Mitch Trubisky,
the duck caller.
Duck was there. Duck was there while Ben was there. We didn't have Duck post Ben.
I thought he was the year after, but maybe not.
No, Duck was. The whole Duck Hodges thing was during Ben's injured season in 2019, where he missed most of the season. Or that might have been, that was 20. It was either 2018 or 2019. I can't remember which one. But that was Duck and Mason split that year.
Yeah.
Because Dobbs, you could also put Dobbs in there, but Dobbs was playing while Ben was playing. He didn't play post Ben. So there was only
the ghost of Ben, we'll say. The last 2 years of Ben's
the last 2 years of Ben. Yeah, then you can add two more. You can add Dobbs and Duck.
But they're going to continue to be bad if they don't fix that offensive line, and I don't think that they're going to, because they are one of those teams that's just obsessed with trying to win that perfect quarterback lottery. They, everyone sees the Pat Mahomes and Tom Brady's of the world and says, "I'm going to get that guy," and guess who never gets that guy? The people who say, "I'm going to go get that guy," because even if you look at both of those guys. They were not the top quarterbacks in their drafts.
No, I mean, you look at both of them. I mean, Brady was super late. Nobody had any thoughts about Brady being drafted. Yeah. And then you look at Mahomes and everybody was like, oh, the Chiefs took Mahomes at 17. That feels kind of like a stretch. Like, I mean, he's not going to be able to light up offenses like at Texas Tech. Texas Tech plays nobody, right? Like, that was the whole thing.
Yeah. And so even in those situations, like, the best two quarterbacks of the past, almost 30 years probably because of how long Brady was around. Neither one of those guys were a top 10 pick.
Nope.
Just is what it is. But for the Aaron Rodgers sweepstakes, because we might be headed that direction. Who do y'all think could potentially be a suitor for the ancient veteran?
You could see him go to Dallas.
Brother, I rebuke that in the name of Jesus Christ. Hell no. We got our own dumpster fire stuff over here. We don't need him.
Not with how much they're paying Dak.
Yeah.
What if you just sent him to the other locker room of New York? What if you sent him to the Giants?
I mean, you could. Daniel Jones is gone after this year.
Yeah.
But, dude, I mean.
Their defense is better.
What situation's worse, the Giants or the Jets? I mean, it's pretty comparable. Like, they're both really bad.
But you are Aaron Rodgers on the Jets, and they suck. The Giants suck, but there is no Aaron Rodgers. I could see how Aaron Rodgers could make them a middle-of-the-road team because they haven't. Their defense isn't that bad. Their defense just unfortunately can never get off the field because their offense sucks so much.
They have a good running game too. The Giants.
That's true.
A decent offensive line.
I mean, if you get Devontae Adams to follow, then you have a team.
Yeah, all of a sudden you got a squad. That would be crazy if he literally just like switched over to the other New York.
Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers, just like JJ and Clark and Glenn Tunga, they just hopped to teams together.
Yeah, they just follow where they need to go.
Well, I was going to say Aaron Rodgers' next destination was going to be the Ryan Fire, so.
Honestly, offer him ownership.
He
that would be crazy. No, the healthcare is too good in Germany. He'd have too many conspiracy theories about his trainers.
That's a good point.
Man.
Another one I thought of the Vikings. He could go full Brett Favre and follow his exact career path. Sam Darnold isn't looking as good as he did at the beginning of the season. He's probably not starting next year. And I think they're saying JJ McCarthy's knee surgery went like has been really rough, so he might not be able to start until like halfway through next season. So I wonder if the Vikings are like, fuck it, let's get Rodgers, have Rodgers kind of be, like this transitional QB until JJ McCarthy's healthy, and maybe he'll learn a couple of things behind Rodgers. The only issue with that is I don't think Rodgers wants to coach a young QB. I don't think he cares about that at all. So
not in the slightest, no.
Who knows how he would do with JJ McCarthy, but
if he has Justin Jefferson.
Well, the thing is that's what I'm saying is you look at the Vikings offense and it's like, yeah, Rodgers would probably thrive in that offense. And hey, like we said with the Giants, you get Devontae Adams to follow. I mean, think about that receiving core.
Jordan Addison, Adams, and Jefferson. Holy cow!
Yeah, and then with T.J. Hawkinson at tight end, like that's an offense.
That's stupid.
So I had to look it up just because I was curious, because I remember Favre playing for the Jets, but I thought that was his last stop. Minnesota was his last stop. So yeah, it would be crazy if Rodgers followed in that exact same trajectory of shit ton of time at Green Bay, really short stint in New York, finished his career in Minnesota.
Was it Madden 09 when they released a cover with Aaron Rodgers in both uniforms? Like you could buy it in either copy?
Oh, you're talking about Brett Favre? You could buy it either.
Yeah, Brett Favre.
The Jets. It was Jets and Vikings, right?
I think so. You could buy like both copies.
Because I think Favre only had 1 year on the Jets. I think he was only there for 1 year.
Madden.
I think 09 or 08.
Yeah, 09.
I'm trying to remember the Madden covers. 11 is Breeze?
08 is Vince Young. 09's Favre. Yeah. You can get it either in the Green Bay or in the New York Jets for 09.
Yeah, because he had his great year in Green Bay, then left. Yeah,
but
Peyton Hillis was 12, I think.
Yeah, good old Peyton Hillis.
That was crazy. Talk about one-hit wonders. But I think I mentioned before, or go for it.
No, you got it, Danny.
I'm changing the subject, so go for it.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I think outside of those two teams, though, the only other teams that would be interested in Rodgers would be like a Carolina or something like that. And Rodgers isn't going to Carolina.
No, Rodgers will hit retirement before he ever ends up in Carolina.
Since Tom Brady owns the Raiders now, could he persuade Rodgers to the Raiders and bring back Adams? Now talk about a reversal.
Oh, that would be crazy.
Oh, dude, we were talking about bad franchises, and I totally forgot about the Raiders.
Talk
about a bad franchise. Those guys are like top of the list. I mean, it's them.
Yeah.
Them and the Browns go head to head. I mean, the Browns, the Jets, those are like the three worst franchises in the last like 20 years.
Yeah.
And the Commanders.
Commanders are turning around, though. Lions are turning around. You can't really count those guys anymore.
What, Aaron Rodgers to the Jet or the Raiders or the Browns?
He wanted. I think Rodgers just retires. I think if he gets if his only stop is Cleveland or Vegas, I think he's just like, fuck it, I'm just done. I'm not doing
Barcelona Dragons.
Down.
Talk about it.
That's my final offer.
Talk about a dumpster fire, man. Yeah, you can go play for the Barcelona Dragons. I mean, if he's on the Barcelona Dragons, though, they win a championship. Like,
oh yeah, they have
easily. To. Yeah, like
it looked like that Aaron Rodgers commercial or that Peyton Manning commercial when it's like the little kids and you just drill them in the back of the head.
The back of the head. Yeah.
But I might have mentioned it before, but did you guys see the thing about what Carolina should do for next year?
You're talking about like the full Navy offense,
explosion
right?
In full Navy offense. Run the triple option. Go out and get Jalen Milroe. Trade all your wide receivers for offensive line. Draft the top running backs, and then just run the triple option in the NFL. That's what they should do.
Honestly, it's better than what they got going on now. You might as well try it.
Literally nothing could go worse.
Yeah. You cannot be worse next year.
Yeah.
Well, they could be. They've won a couple of games. I mean, they could go 0-17.
We're derailing now, but since we've been talking so much about dumpster fire organizations, it's time for our usual Fiasco Award of the Week. Who do y'all have for the Fiasco? Who is the Fiasco? Why are they the Fiasco? Talk to me.
You want to go first, Danny, or you want me to take it?
Go for it.
Mine is a blanket Fiasco Award, and it's just going to go to the kickers of the NFL, minus Chris Boswell.
Yep.
Kickers had a rough week, but I mean, Tucker misses 2. That
McPherson missed 2.
Uncharacteristically missed. Yeah, McPherson misses 2. The missed game, or I guess it was blocked, but just the Bears situation, having the blocked tipped field goal at the very end of the game to lose.
That was hard.
It's a brutal week for kickers. I think Philly also missed a field goal or 2, or maybe that was last week, but Philly's kicker, what's his face? Jake something, right?
Jake Elliott.
Elliott.
I think he did miss some.
I don't know if it was this last week or it was 2 weeks ago, but kickers are having a rough time if they're not named Chris Boswell or Brandon Aubrey.
Yeah, 2 for 4 for Jake Elliott.
Yeah.
And then 2 for 3 on extra points. He missed 3.
Yeah. So I don't know what's going on with kickers this year, but
they got the yips.
Yeah, they got the yips. They're falling apart. I mean, we might be looking at Tucker's last year, honestly. Last year he was making kicks. I mean, he missed a couple towards the end of the stretch, but everyone was just like, oh, that's not a big deal. Like, Tucker's still got it. But
yeah,
I mean, this year Tucker's been terrible.
He was the only one to miss from like 50 plus yards for the first like 5 weeks of the season.
Yeah.
Like out of the NFL, it was like, I think it was like 20 of 22 or something like that. And he had both misses.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what it is about this like wall that like really good kickers hit. Cause I think about, and I'm spacing, I think, was it Nick Folk for us? One of our kickers also, whichever one who, until Tucker got into the league, was considered the most accurate kicker of all time. It was like, did great. And then it was just 1 year after like 8 years, just fell off of a fucking cliff. And
I don't know if it was Nick Folk, but there was a kicker recently that you guys had. It was Dan Bailey.
Oh, yeah.
Dan Bailey. Yeah, Dan Bailey was the most accurate kicker of all time for a little bit there. Yeah. And then just nosedived hard.
Yeah. And so I don't know what it is. I guess Father Time is very rough on those legs. And as someone who has a really messed up left leg, I get it. But sucks. It sucks.
Yeah. And a lot of time it costs them their career. Like one year and a half of bad kicking, you're gone.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, because nobody wants to take a flyer on you at that point, you know?
Yeah.
No, and that's the thing is, I think the only kicker I can actually think of that had a rough year but still kept playing was Boswell. I mean, Boswell had that really bad season.
A couple years
ago. And then, they were like, okay, they replaced him with like McCrane for half the season. He got like some surgery, came back, and Boswell is, I mean, if Tucker misses a few more kicks, Boswell is about to be the most accurate kicker of all time.
Did they like insert a robotic leg into Boswell during that surgery?
I have no clue. I mean, they might have at this point. I mean, that guy, seriously, I mean, line him up from anywhere. It's insane.
Yeah.
We might be like 6-5 instead of, or sorry, we might be like 6-4 or whatever instead of 8-2 if we didn't have Boswell.
Yeah.
Since we're talking about kickers, kind of easy segue for Danny. I'm sorry, you're going to have to go last for the Fiasco Awards. But, I think about our best player on the Dallas Cowboys, Brandon Aubrey, our kicker. And my Fiasco Award goes to the rest of the team because the rest of the team sucks. Oh, my God. And I'm also going to put in a little something extra for Jerry Jones. I don't know if y'all saw, but one of the panels from the roof fell off before the game. Yeah. And Jerry just kind of brushed over it. I'm like, dog, if someone were under that, they could have died. Like, you're very fortunate that there isn't a lawsuit on your hands, which part of me is like, I kind of wish there was a lawsuit so we could kind of shut Jerry down for good. But, the good Lord giveth and he taketh away. So, but yeah, my Fiasco Award goes to how piss poor we've been, how piss poor the entire season's been, and the fact that we allowed Joe Mixon to get 3 touchdowns, but then also allowed CD to get too many yards. And so I wasn't able to win my game in fantasy this week because of that. Because CD got like 90 yards that led to absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And
I won one of my leagues for that.
Yeah. If he hadn't have done that, it would have looked like he's been looking. I would have won, but it's fine.
Rip.
Rip. I need Jerry to die.
Wow. All right then,
bro. That's where I'm at. We've been saying fire the GM and he refuses. So okay, fine. Father Time, you know what to do.
Father Time.
Jerry's just hoping it's segregated when he gets up there. That's all.
Oh my god. Oof. Danny, what is yours? Let's move on.
Wow. No, mine goes to the Atlanta Falcons.
The
team that they have to be where they are is brutal. They were so bad they had to put Michael Penix in at the end of the game.
Oh, not Penis.
Yeah. Michael Penix had 24 yards at the end of the game. But how does Bijan Robinson average 2.9 yards a carry?
Because they did the same thing that we were complaining about the Jets and decided to get the splash players before they shored up the offensive line first.
They don't have a horrible offensive line. That's the thing. Like their offensive line is
below average,
bipolar. Like you'll have one game where Bijan goes for 200, and then you have another one that goes for 30.
Bijan is the most underwhelming top running back prospect I've seen in a while. I don't think Bijan's a bad player, but they took Bijan at 4 or something or 7.
Something like that.
They took him within the first 10 picks of a draft, and it's is Bijan a top 10 NFL draft caliber player at this stage? I wouldn't say so. I think Bijan's an above average running back. I wouldn't even say he's a top tier running back in the NFL. I think I would have to look at my list of running backs, but there's probably 10 running backs I have above Bijan Robinson.
His big issue, and you see it a lot with a lot of these, more finesse-driven running backs once they hit the league, same kind of thing happened with Reggie Bush, is once you get to the NFL, everybody's fast. And, at least on good teams, on good rosters, everyone on that defense can tackle in the open field, and so there's only so much wiggling and things that you can do and bullshit that you can make happen out of nowhere. That in college, yes, whenever he was at UT, dude, you could see him spin 3 dudes out of their shoes, jump over another guy, and take it 55 yards to the house. You can't do that in the NFL. You gotta run through a motherfucker from time to time, and he's not built like that.
I will say, I'm looking at the 23 draft class. He went 8th overall. He was the first running back at 8 overall. Then Jahmyr Gibbs went 12th overall, so only 4 picks later. And the next running back didn't go until round 2, pick 52, the 52nd overall pick at Zach Charbonnet.
And it might sound crazy. I think I prefer Gibbs over Bijan, and that.
I'm with you. Yeah,
if you were looking for a running back in that class, there are none. After Charbonnet, Kendra Miller went.
Yeah, but I mean, who's to say that? Who would? I don't know. I just don't think you spend a premier player. I mean, what draft class was he? Was he 2022 or 2023?
23, which was not a very good draft class. It was very defensive heavy and O-line heavy, because it went Bryce Young, Stroud, Will Anderson, Richardson, Paris Johnson was in there, and then wide receivers went 21 to 23 with Jackson Smith-Njigba, Quentin Johnson, Zay Flowers, and Jordan Addison.
I don't know. If I was the Falcons, I still think I would have taken some of these defensive players. I would have taken Jalen Carter. I think some of these O-line guys have been playing pretty well. Lucas Van Ness is also a great guy who's been playing for the Packers. I would have preferred him. Some of these corners that went later in the round, I think you could have taken a flyer on these guys over them.
They should have taken Miles Murphy, so then the Bengals wouldn't have had a horrible first-round pick.
Yeah, Miles Murphy has been bad.
Yeah.
No, so I don't know. I just don't like the optics of taking a running back that high. I mean, it's the same with the Giants. The Giants had some good years out of Saquon Barkley, but you look at the 2018 draft class, and it's did you really need to take Saquon Barkley at number 2 overall? you could have benefited so much more from having anybody else. Like, and Saquon just ended up not being able to play his whole career with them because they sucked. So,
because
I just don't like the optics of it. I just don't like the optics of picking a high running back unless you're like a team who's a contender.
Yeah,
what are the Patriots doing? Sorry, Jordan.
No,
they took Sony Michel in the first round.
That was dumb.
Yeah, that was number 30. He was 32 overall, though, right?
31. Lamar Jackson went 32.
Yeah.
But then 4 picks later, Nick Chubb went.
Yeah, that's a misplay.
Oof.
But I was going to say, there are – I think Saquon in particular, to be fair, has the talent that he deserves to be picked second. But the problem is if you are picking a running back second, you probably don't have the offensive line for them.
Exactly.
Saquon has Saquon, I would say, a Derrick Henry, in hindsight, I know he wasn't picked in the top 10, but, those two – even, all the years that we had Zeke that he was good, the first 4 years of his career, those guys, there are reasons why they get picked top 10. I don't think that Bijan is in the same stratosphere as any of those 3 that I just listed. And even still, all 3 of those other guys that I listed, Derrick Henry wasn't picked in the top 10. So he had a much better situation. And then, Zeke was Zeke, but we had a great offensive line. The reason why we had such a high pick was because Romo got hurt the year before, and so we just put in a backup and sucked it up the whole year. And so we had a good team. We had a great offensive line. We had Des Bryant. We had a okay defense, So it made sense to pick Zeke as a top 10 player. And Saquon, and Saquon has the ability to, if there were a situation like that, if the Giants had, a better offensive line, then yes, totally would have made sense because he is talented enough to be a number 2 pick. But again, offensive lines mean a lot. Trenches are everything in this league and always have been, and they always will be.
They always will be. GMs hate it. They hate picking the trench players, but if you build out your trenches, your team's going to be better. Just look, there are so many examples across the league of people who do not prioritize their trench play. And it's you might have some exciting pieces on offense, but holy shit, your team sucks.
But it's crazy how fast O-lines can change as well. Or even if you think someone's good and they just turn out to be shit on a different team. No, I mean,
definitely.
It's so hard to come by.
You have to take the flyers on them though. You have to make sure your trench play is in place before you try to build your team out. If you don't have a good D-line or a good O-line and you're trying to compete, you just can't. Whereas if you have a good O-line and a good D-line, you can compete with a bad quarterback and a bad running back. Yeah. You're not going to win anything, but I mean, shit, I look at the Steelers defense over the last couple of years and look at the offenses we were trotting out there, right? You can make shit work if you have good trench play.
Yeah. 1,000%.
Yeah.
Do we want to move to pick'ems for next week?
Let's do it.
I'm ready.
I can't be depressed this week, so that's good.
So we have the 8-2 Pittsburgh Steelers at the 2-8 Cleveland Browns.
Oh, give me Cleveland -3.5, baby.
I know you're bullshitting. It's fine.
How is Justin Fields still your leading passer?
Russell hasn't started that many
dog
weeks.
in him.
How many weeks has Russ started at this point?
3?
4?
Oh. Maybe 4? I don't know. I thought 3.
I don't remember.
It's not a lot.
Justin Fields only has 1,100 yards.
I mean, did you watch that Ravens game? He passed for 180 yards in that game because of how ugly that game was.
That's fair.
That'll lower. The thing is you're never going to see those gaudy numbers from Steelers or Ravens players ever again because they got to play each other twice a year, and those stats go down the drain, man. Those are always just slugfest, shitty football games, but they're so good. That's fair.
It's so funny how the Ravens just play completely different games against us and you guys. It's you know what? Let's give up 45 points and then give up 7 points or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's insane.
So we're all in agreement, Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think this has the capability to be a trap game, though.
That's fair. It do be happening like that.
Jameis Winston's going to come out and throw like 4 touchdowns somehow.
Yeah, this is the game I've been actually most worried about so far this season, because losing to the Browns at this stage would be super embarrassing, and I really hope they don't do it.
Is it worse than that after the 0-17 season?
Hey, we tied them. We didn't lose to them.
Yeah, and then you tied them.
No, the tying after the 0-17 season, I mean, that's the worst game of football. No, it's not. There's been a lot of bad games of football.
Oh, sorry, that was 0-16 at that time. But then they went 0-15 and 1.
No. Sorry, you got it backwards. They went 0-15, or sorry, they went 1-15, 0-16. They got Baker. We tied them in week 1, and then they went like 7 wins or something, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, that was just bad.
Yeah.
Minnesota, Chicago.
Yeah, I was about to say. I actually Chicago's had some shit luck recently.
Their offense is garbage.
Yeah. But Darnold has been on the decline a little bit. I don't know. I think that this is also a trap game. You know, with it being in Chicago, Chicago's not very good. I could see Minnesota taking their foot off the gas and potentially losing this one. So I'm going to call the upset.
Go Minnesota.
I have a strong feeling Chicago's not going to win another game this season. They have a brutal they have a brutal schedule from here on out. Like, they have to play the Vikings twice. They have to play the Lions twice. I think they're playing the Chiefs, or maybe not playing the Chiefs. They're playing the Bills, I think.
No, they have the Vikings twice, the Lions twice, Niners, Seahawks, and Packers again.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they beat the Seahawks. That's really the only one I could see. That's the only one I could see being competitive, though. Like, I think you're right, Jordan. This could be a trap game, but I'm like, as long as they have Matt Eberflus at the helm, there's nothing about that Chicago team that excites me. So I'm gonna go Minnesota.
Fair enough.
I'm following this dude on social media. He is tracking how many punt yards the punter has compared to the total yards Caleb Williams has.
Oh, that's so wrong.
Well, because the draft night, Caleb Williams texted the punter saying, "Hey, don't worry, you're not going to have to punt very much." And the punter's only like 100 yards behind Caleb Williams on the year.
Yeah, that offense, man.
Yeah, in a couple games he has beat him. Like, he's out-punted the offense.
Well, again, another example of you have a shit offensive line and you try to bring in a flashy player, it does not work. The 9-1 Detroit Lions at the 5-6 Indianapolis Colts.
Talk about a flashy team.
Dude, we're about to witness a murder.
I don't think it's going to be as bad as like Jacksonville. The Colts defense is decent.
I'm going with the murder on this one.
They're going to probably give up like 42 points, but
yeah,
it'll be like 42-27 or something like that.
Yeah, I don't see it being as bad as Jacksonville. I don't think it can get much worse than that. But I think, honestly, I think Indianapolis loses by 2 touchdowns.
Oh,
yeah.
Probably. Yeah. That line of 7 is pretty low.
Yeah.
Ooh, this will be a fun one.
Ooh.
The 3-8 New England Patriots versus the 4-6 Miami Dolphins. I'm taking Miami on it, but it's going to be an ugly game.
I like Miami because they're getting healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
exactly
where I'm at, too.
No,
I mean, Miami might fuck around and make it into the playoffs at this point. Like, that 7th seed race is not very exciting. You know, like, everybody is not doing too hot, so.
Yeah, the AFC playoff race is weird. You have Cincinnati, Miami, Broncos, and who else is sitting there? Colts, all right there.
But yeah, I mean, like, Colts could lose this week. I mean, Bengals are on a bye. Denver is not going to lose this week, so they'll get ahead.
I don't know. Denver's Denver, brother. Never count them out to do Denver things.
Don't worry.
It's a division game.
That's true.
Denver, up until last year, Denver lost like 12 straight to the Raiders or something like that.
Well, hey, we're getting ahead. We'll get to that game in a second.
Okay.
Yeah.
My bad.
Give me Miami, though.
No, you're good.
Yeah, give my Miami.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement on Miami. The 4-6 Tampa Bay Bucks at the 2-8 New York Giants.
We get a Baker versus Danny DeVito or Tommy DeVito.
Tommy Collins is back, dude.
Talk about quarterbacks.
Bro, just pure hoops out there. Pure hoops.
Yeah. Give me Baker. Give me the Bucks coming off a bye.
Yeah.
Give me the Bucks.
The 3-7 Dallas Cowboys at the 7-4 Washington Commanders. Can we skip this one?
This might be worse than the Lions-Colts game.
Oh, dude, it's gonna be worse than the Lions-Colts game, dude. Going up against a high-powered offense, and our defense sucks, and our offense also sucks.
Yeah. So, the Commanders are coming off 2 losses back-to-back.
Oh yeah, they're mad, and we've bullied the Commanders for years now. So they've had this bad boy circled on their calendars.
They about to pull a Lions on you,
dude. Yeah, they finna whoop that ass, belt to ass. Leaving marks and everything. It's gonna be bad. The 9-1 Kansas City Chiefs at the 3-7 Carolina Panthers. There's going to be a lot of blowouts this week.
I really want the Panthers to win.
Danny, take them for it. Who cares? We get these wrong sometimes.
Oh, I accidentally said the Panthers. Dang it.
I mean, I said Chicago was going to beat Minnesota. Sometimes you just got to feel it.
Yeah, I don't feel Carolina.
I will say this. Kansas City's been playing pretty ugly. I think Kansas City's still going to win, but I think Carolina's going to cover. I think they're going to cover the spread. I think they're not going to lose by 11 points.
Spread. They'll probably lose by 10.
And the spread's 11, so.
Yeah, I know.
So all 3 of us are going Kansas City then.
Yeah.
Because you don't feel Carolina ever.
No. I just want
Tanner. No homer call since you're out there in the Carolinas. No homer call.
I mean, dude, that game sucks. They're dog shit.
The 2-8 Tennessee Titans at the 7-4 Houston Texans. Battle of the Oilers.
Give me the Texans.
Give me the Texans.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. This could be an upset though.
Tennessee's going to be picking top 5 this year. I don't know.
But it's going to be Houston.
6-5 Denver Broncos, 2-8 Las Vegas Raiders. Get me the Raiders on this. Screw it. Because here's the thing. I know that my youth group students are listening to the pod right now because they so happily reminded me that I said the N-word in a podcast like 5 weeks ago.
I don't remember you saying that.
I don't remember it either, but apparently episode 44, I say the N-word.
Do you? Huh.
Yeah. Didn't know that, but they do it.
I'm going to go back and watch it now.
Yeah, I'm going to go give it a listen. See.
But so yeah, just because I know that my students are listening right now, man, I'm taking the Las Vegas Raiders, baby.
During the
last game they win this season.
No, it was 45, wasn't it?
No, it's 44.
I thought it was the championship game.
Yeah, no, that is it's the Ryan Fire champions.
Oh, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, that's what I thought. We looked it up this afternoon. I was like, "There's no way." I was like, "What would you have said during the championship?"
I don't know. Hey, maybe I was calling Tunga my Negro or something like that. Sounds like some head ass shit I'd say. So
that's true.
I mean, probably. Yeah.
Tanner, who are you taking?
For what game? The Denver Vegas game?
Yeah, Denver Vegas.
Yeah, give me Denver. Vegas fucking sucks. Denver, we were saying
Denver to lose.
What's it called? Tennessee's picking top 5. I mean, dude, Vegas is picking top 1. That team blows.
Yeah.
Nah, I think this will be a bad Bo Nix week, and Broncos are going to lose by like 3. It'll be heart-wrenching.
Heart-wrenching.
It'll be a bad call too. It'll be a bad call by a ref that they'll be driving down on that last drive. It'll be like 4th and 2, and there's going to be an uncalled pass interference or something like that.
So the same thing as every other game, that almost every week this year, something happens with the refs. Got it.
Yeah. This will be the something happens with the refs game right here.
Got it.
The 5-5 San Francisco 49ers at the 7-3 Green Bay Packers. Do we know what the outlook looks like for the 49ers?
What?
Do we know what the health like of the offense looks like for the 49ers? I know CMC's back, but
still give me the cheese, baby.
Yeah,
the Chiefs.
I mean, Ayuk is out for the season, I'm pretty sure. Debo might be back. I'm not very moved by San Francisco this year. I don't think they're making it to the playoffs, to be honest. And I think it's tough to go into Lambeau and win, especially as an underdog. And San Francisco just does not have the sauce this year.
The crazy thing is they're they're 1 game out of first place of their division.
I know, but I honestly think they might be the worst in the division right now. Like, just the way they've been playing. Like,
no, I agree.
I mean, Seattle's close. I don't really like Seattle this year either, but the Rams are moving in the right direction. They're getting healthy, and Arizona, I mean, has a 4th place schedule for the rest of the season. I think Arizona is going to run away with the division.
I think that San Fran's going to look at this like this is our last chance to, try and get back into the race. Because I mean, yeah, they're tied. They're down at the bottom because they keep losing games to their own people. But I could see them coming out swinging. I could see this being a Shanahan masterclass somehow. And I mean, I hate both of these teams, so I hate having to pick. Period. I would like it that both of them would just, I don't know, get arrested. I don't want to say die in a car accident because that's a little.
This is your meteor game. Rooting for the meteor.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, if there were ever a game where the Earth just has to explode, I'd be fine with it being this one. But I think San Fran is going to come out. I'm gonna predict the upset on this one too. Man, I got some upsets this week. We got to keep up with this. See how
if you get them right, we need to clip it.
You think I'm going to spend time to actually clip this? No. If it were the ELF season, sure, but I'm a little burnt out right now. 6-4 Arizona Cardinals at the 5-5 Seattle Seahawks. This is
Arizona has a chance to be right in the driver's seat towards the end of the year with this conference.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I was saying it for the 49ers. I think Arizona's going to win this game, and I think Arizona's going to be in control of the NFC West.
Wow.
Well, I'm looking ahead, but next game. The Rams
going into the season, didn't we have Arizona dead last in the NFC West?
It
Yes.
was between them and Seattle, I think.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we put Seattle at 3rd, and I'm pretty sure we put Arizona at dead last, but that's funny.
Oops.
Well, I mean, dude, a new Call of Duty came out this year, and Kyler's been playing well. It's crazy. Like,
I don't know what happened. There's a correlation there for sure.
Yeah, so shit doesn't make sense anymore, so good for Arizona.
He usually plays really bad.
Yeah.
The 8-2 Philadelphia Eagles at the 5-5 LA Rams. Give me the Rams because I hate the Eagles.
Dude, I'm
calling all the upsets this week.
Like, I want the Rams to win so bad because fuck Philadelphia. Like, just with everything that's ever been said, like that godforsaken city.
Cheering for the meteor.
No, I like the Rams. That's the issue. Like I mean, yeah, like I love Stafford. I just hate Philadelphia. It's just Philadelphia's a way better team than the Rams, so I feel like Philly's gonna win it. But I would love for West New Jersey to lose.
I mean, haven't the Rams been winning games as of recent? Because aren't they getting healthy finally?
They have, but this Eagles team is good, man. I mean,
it's still Nick Sirianni.
I know, but as much as it pains me to say, Philadelphia is good. It's the darkest timeline.
I'm still going with the Rams. I don't give a fuck.
I'm going to have to go with the Eagles, sadly.
I'm just predicting all the upsets this week. Now we've got the 7-4 Baltimore Ravens at the 7-3 LA Chargers. It's hard because Baltimore is such a weird team, I feel like, you know?
They have been this year.
Yeah.
I'm going Baltimore. Baltimore needs a bounce back win. I still think if Baltimore loses this game, they're out of cards of winning their division. I think it then becomes the Steelers division. So I think Baltimore is going to play really tough on LA this year or this week. So give me Baltimore.
I think I'll go Baltimore as well, just for the sake of, bounce back win.
I'm going to take the upset. I'm going
is it really an upset, though? Because they have a better record.
Technically to the spread, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I think the Chargers saw the Chiefs lose a game. They only have to lose 2 more to fight for a division. They're hoping on the off chance to just have their foot stuck in the door of the division. I don't think they're going to win the division, but they have their eyes on it.
There's hope. Yeah, there's hope for them.
But
I'm rooting for the Chargers. I would love for the Chargers to win because that means I'm watching the Steelers win the AFC North this year. If the Chargers, because Baltimore is going to fall to 8-5, and Steelers are, Jesus, what is my math going on right here? They're going to be
5.
Yeah, 7. Like 7 and something, right? 7-4, 7-5. Yeah.
Yeah. If they lost, it'd be 7-5. Yeah.
So, if Steelers win, they lose. Steelers at 9-2 and Baltimore at 7-5. Like, Steelers are going to win the division. So
yeah, but looking at the Chiefs' schedule, they still play the Chargers. They also play the Texans, Steelers, and Broncos to end the season.
Yep.
There's a chance.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
There's a chance.
Well, cool. Any final words from you fellas before we end the show?
Refs need to be paid as a full-time job and trained.
My final word is that Jerry Jones needs to die.
Zach Taylor needs to be fired. Especially Lou Anarumo. He needs to be fired. If anyone on the coaching staff needs to be gone, it's our defensive coordinator.
Yeah. Well, cool. Thanks, everybody, for listening. This has been the Fourth Down Fiasco with Danny, Tanner, and Jordan. We appreciate y'all, as always, for listening to us. We ask that you rate us 5 stars on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Best way for us to grow the show. And also check out our sponsor, BetStamp. You can check out all their really great bet offerings at signupexpert.com/fiasco. See y'all.
Hugs and kisses.
And I'm gonna keep doing them both because they make me feel good.